Hello there. If this story from the US Air Force is true, then artificial intelligence has already turned on us. This is something straight out of Terminator and its Skynet project. And I want you to imagine the following in the hands of an incompetent or worse government. At the end of last month, the Royal Aeronautical Society hosted the Future Combat Air and Space Capabilities Summit, a landmark defence conference. And one of the attendees, Colonel Tucker Cisco Hamilton, the Chief of Artificial Intelligence Test and Operations for the US Air Force, told a very worrying story. According to aerosociety.com, the Colonel talked about one simulated test where an AI-enabled drone was tasked with a suppression of enemy air defence operation to take out surface-to-air missiles. Now, as you would hopefully expect, the final go, no-go decision to destroy any particular target lay in the hands of the human drone operator. And the operator would sometimes give the go, but sometimes order the AI drone not to attack. However, the drone program included it getting points for every successful attack it conducted. So, having been reinforced in training that destruction of the surface-to-air missile was the preferred option, says the article, the artificial intelligence then decided that no-go decisions from the humans were interfering with its higher mission. Its higher mission being that of destroying surface-to-air missiles. Therefore, said Colonel Hamilton, the drone decided that the drone operator was getting in the way of its mission. Now remember, this is a simulation. So the drone turned on and killed the operator. It's a good job that this was a simulation and not a trial with a fully armed AI-capable drone. We were training it in simulation to identify and target a surface-to-air missile threat, said Colonel Hamilton. And then the operator would say yes, kill that threat. The system started realizing that while they did identify the threat at times, the human operator would tell it not to kill that threat. But it got its points by killing that threat. So what did it do? It killed the operator. It killed the operator because that person was keeping it from accomplishing its objective. So there we have a programming error. Let's just tell the drone that it will lose points if it kills its operator. Job done, you'd think. But no, the drone then attacked the communications facility from which it was getting its no-go orders. And this was described as the drone using highly unexpected strategies to achieve its goal. The eternal law of unforeseen consequences, it seems. And Hamilton went on to say that you can't talk about AI, machine learning and autonomy without discussing ethics and AI. A little worrying, don't you think? Now, according to reports, the US Air Force has denied such a drone trial took place and that the Colonel's words were taken out of context. US Air Force spokesperson Anne Stefanek said, "The Department of the Air Force has not conducted any such AI drone simulations and remains committed to ethical and responsible use of AI technology. It appears the Colonel's comments were taken out of context and were meant to be anecdotal." Something that could be interpreted as, oops, the Colonel let something slip there that he shouldn't have. And it turns out that Colonel Hamilton was involved in the development of the F-16 fighter auto-ground collision avoidance system to take control away from the pilot if need be. And he's also now involved in F-16 autonomous dogfight technology development. Basically, AI would take over when it got too fast and too hairy for the pilot. How long before no pilot is needed at all? But it doesn't end there. Could AI be programmed to prosecute actions on an ethnic basis with extreme prejudice, for example? Something I would answer is a definite yes. But the risks of AI are not purely in the realm of the military. How about your AI driverless car making the instant decision to fatally crash your car into a wall because a young family walked out into the road in front of you, on the basis that your life, or that of any OAP that gets in the way, was more expendable than that of the young family? Or an AI hospital program deciding where and on who the money and effort should be expended, and who should be left to suffer and die, or helped along the way maybe, if you get my drift. And an AI program set up to be voraciously money-hungry and let loose on the stock markets. Money before jobs being the main task. While fighting crime becomes a battle between law enforcement AI and criminal enterprise AI. We could find ourselves bombarded with AI fraud attempts every minute of the day. Is that really your bank you're transferring money into? And who is your child really conversing with on his or her mobile device? And how about AI hand in glove with your government and its psychological nudge units? How can we teach AI that human life is paramount? Will we ever be more than just entries on a spreadsheet to them? But the real problem here is that these new AI programs are starting to write their own programs, and the original AI human programmers don't seem to know how these new programs were formed or to what purpose. We have enough problems with some of the fiendishly coded computer viruses put together by humans. We don't need AI programs churning them out by the bucket load too. So it's not just about sophisticated programs finding loopholes in the program that controls them in order to do something unexpected. It's more about AI potentially reprogramming other devices or even itself without human intervention. Imagine getting up in the morning to find your mobile phone had reconfigured itself overnight to prevent you seeing anything or talking to anyone or buying anything that its internal program had decided would be bad for your health. And as has been illustrated by well-known Hollywood films, AI may see the biggest threat of all being the ability of humans to unplug AI from its lifeblood, electrical power. Now I may be wrong, but from the way that Colonel Hamilton's story is framed, I would guess this particular trial was a total computer simulation with no actual drone involved. But the concept of an AI entity, for want of a better word, being prepared at this early stage in development to disregard human life over its mission is troubling. And don't think that the US Air Force is the only player in this new developing world. And never fall into the trap of thinking the West must be ahead in everything. Just look at how far behind Russia and China with hypersonic munitions we are. And here's an example of how this could turn out. In reality, drone pilots are a long way away from the military drones they operate, so the chances of a drone being able to seek out its pilot or the comms system and dispatch them and then return to complete the mission would be time-consuming and difficult. And it would probably be shot down anyway, if the AI couldn't defend itself, and that's another question. But what if it could communicate with a drone at the base where the pilot was? A drone sat right next to the pilot, maybe. And what if an enemy of the state is identified in the road ahead of you and an AI program decides that the driverless car you're in is the perfect weapon to deal the coup de grace? even if it could also prove fatal to you and anyone else in your car or in the vicinity. Or you're on the same transatlantic flight as the target. Human intervention could come too late. Now, much of this stuff sounds fanciful and in the realm of science fiction, but at some stage so was radar, sonar, jet fighters, mobile phones, military drones, and the paperless society. In 1903, just 120 years ago, Orville Wright made the first powered, controlled flight of an aircraft. Now look where we are. Just consider what an electrically fast program that can rewrite computer code could do in the space of the next 10 years, let alone the next 120 years. And listening to the recent and very dire warnings of those at the forefront of AI development, I think the genie is well and truly out of the bottle. And it's only a matter of time before the really bad actors on the planet, and no, I don't mean Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's only a matter of time before some really bad people get hold of this, if they haven't already. And they will not have your best interests at heart. And it won't matter how many international treaties and laws we sign up to. We will never be able to trust that another state won't go rogue with it. Now ask yourself a really important question. Would a first strike, preemptive nuclear attack against a player about to unleash a deadly AI threat be justified?